On Wham Bam Dashcam, we don't waste your time with the same tired clips you've already seen on Reddit and TikTok. Every video we feature was sent directly to us by the fan who captured it themselves. Buckle up and hold on. Sean was driving his Dodge Ram 2500 on his way to pick up his girlfriend from work when a turning box truck blocked his view of a GMC pickup turning into the road ahead of him. Thankfully, Sean was able to slam on the brakes, preventing the collision from being any worse. The other driver took full responsibility and apologized, and our insurance provider paid for the repairs to Sean's pickup. Thankfully, nobody was injured, including Sean's dog, who had been riding in the back seat. Fixing Sean's 2003 Dodge Ram 2500 cost $1,700 US. Alex noticed a BMW convertible flying up next to her Toyota CHR and didn't want to let it cut in front of her, but she also didn't want to get hit, so she backed off. Suddenly, the BMW driver went for it, cutting off a gray Toyota. The Toyota was briefly put up on two wheels by the side impact before coming down and colliding with the white SUV ahead of the BMW. Alex stopped and shared her dashcam footage with all the involved drivers. Alex said the BMW driver honestly didn't care and told the gray Toyota driver to call the police. Thankfully, nobody was injured in the collision. Alex sent along this message: get a dashcam. It's important for yourself and to help others. If you need a dashcam, we've put a link in the description to the brand of dashcam our team uses in our own vehicles. Jared was on his way to a wedding in California with his family when a silver Nissan flew past him in the travel lane. Jared told us he was going 85 in a 75 and he estimates the Nissan speed at around 100 miles per hour. Fewer than 5 minutes later, Jared passed the same Nissan, but this time it was pulled over on the shoulder with an Arizona Department of Public Safety SUV parked right behind it with the party lights on. Jared had just 2 words for that Nissan driver: instant justice. Our frequent submitter Dolphin Attic is back, this time with a Honda bump. He was approaching a traffic light when the Civic next to him started rolling too early and rear-ended a Toyota Prius.
Jump in! Honda bumped! Honda bumped! Yeah!
Honestly, it doesn't look like any of these drivers were paying attention, except for Dolphin Attic, of course, who quickly parked and ran back to offer his dashcam footage. By then, the Civic driver had left the scene. He emailed a copy of his footage to the Prius driver later. Thankfully, nobody was injured, and he even said the rear bumper cover of the Prius appeared undamaged by the impact. Chad is a trucker who was driving his international semi when he watched the hood of a car fly up and get ripped off. After the hood folded all the way back against the windshield and sent debris flying everywhere, it fell in the road where it was run over by an SUV that had just merged onto the highway. Chad told us the car then drove off like nothing had happened. He also wanted to shout out his son Kalen, who watches Wham Bam every morning before school. Thomas was driving his Nissan Xterra in snowy Wyoming. He told us the highway had been closed to trucks due to high winds, so the truck stops were overflowing with trucks. Watch what happened as Thomas was driving past one. A semi from his right cruised right through a stop sign, and Thomas's view of it had been completely blocked by other trucks parked on the side of the road. Incredibly, he was able to swerve and avoid any contact. Thomas continued on, albeit with a slightly elevated heart rate. He also said, always expect the other drivers to do the dumbest thing possible and you'll always be prepared. Sound advice, Thomas. Wasful was heading home from work when the driver of an SUV sideswiped his Ford Focus when they dove for an exit lane. Wasful told us he thinks the SUV's tire climbed the side of his car since there was no frame damage. His car escaped with nothing more serious than scratches and a broken side mirror. Sadly, the other driver was uninsured, and Wasful suspects the contact info she gave him was fake. He chose not to inform the police and plans to replace the mirror himself with a used one from a junkyard. Jeremy was driving home when he approached an intersection where the right lane had been blocked off by cones. Suddenly, a red Ford Escape whose driver was honking the horn went barreling through the cones. Jeremy suspects this happened as part of a road rage incident, but my theory is that the escape driver was experiencing some kind of emergency. Then again, maybe he was just trying to escape traffic. Colin was headed to work when he watched a gray Dodge Charger come flying down a highway off-ramp that Colin didn't realize had 2 lanes. Well, that's because that off-ramp only has 1 lane. The Charger tried unsuccessfully to squeeze past a white Infiniti, sideswiping it in the process. The Charger then pulled over on the side of the road. The driver and passenger from the Charger then bailed out and ran off, leaving their dog behind in the car. Thankfully, nobody was injured, and Colin called 911 before providing his dashcam footage to the victims. Before Colin left, he saw an unmarked cop car bringing the Charger passenger back to the scene, but he never saw the driver. He waited an hour and a half to provide his dashcam footage to a Texas state trooper before leaving. Robel was leaving a convenience store when he turned onto the street only to face down an SUV coming toward him in his own lane. The Toyota driver quickly swerved into a different oncoming lane, still going the wrong way, and went around Robel's Honda Civic. Robel thinks the SUV driver probably didn't even realize they'd done anything wrong. Matt was driving down a Rhode Island highway when he watched an impatient pickup driver go around another vehicle entering the other side of the highway, only to collide with someone already on the highway. Obviously, the driver on the ramp shouldn't have stopped. That is not how you merge onto a highway, but the pickup driver definitely caused this collision by going around them. Not only that, but the pickup's turn was so wide that it hit a vehicle in the far lane. If you can't make a maneuver safely, maybe you shouldn't make the maneuver at all. Vinny watched an SUV driver pass him in a non-existent lane before merging over at the last second before they would have hit a curb. I bet our fans can guess what kind of car it was.
That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive.
Yep, that's a Tesla Model X, and that makes this driver our Tesla behaving badly for the week. You didn't think we forgot, did you? Tampa Matt watched an SUV from the right T-bone a car from the left while he was waiting at a red light. Tampa Matt told us the car from the left was making a protected left turn and the SUV from the right ran a red light, but just take a look at this intersection. There has got to be a better way to do this. Irvin was on his way to pick up his cousin Ethan from work when he noticed a pickup entering the highway rather quickly. He told us that watching Wham Bam videos prepared him to react to what happened next. Sure enough, the pickup driver started invading Irvin's lane, forcing him to the shoulder to avoid a collision. Irvin laid on the horn until the pickup driver backed off and slowed down. Thanks to his mental preparation, Irvin said he was strangely unafraid during the close call. Way to keep your cool, Irvin. Luke was headed south on I-69 when he suddenly encountered an SUV stopped on the inside shoulder. Even though he tried to swerve around it, he couldn't avoid a collision before getting rear-ended by another SUV. Sadly, Luke's 2020 Honda CR-V was totaled. First responders arrived minutes later, but thankfully nobody was seriously injured. Luke used the $17,000 insurance settlement to buy a 2024 CR-V. Luke wanted to thank the first responders as well as his supportive friends and family. Kimchi had left his Kia EV6 parked in a San Francisco parking lot when his dashcam captured an incredible low flyby of a Blue Angels fighter jet. If you're not familiar, the Blue Angels are the US Navy's flight demonstration squadron. Kimchi wanted to shout out Aiden and Joshua, who never miss a Wham Bam video. Don was merging left in his Toyota Camry when he was sideswiped by another Camry driver who merged into the same lane from the other direction. Both drivers pulled over and exchanged insurance information. When Don's insurance provider decided the other driver was at fault, the other driver's insurance provider denied responsibility. Since Don only had liability insurance, this left him on his own to fix the damage. Rather than paying over $2,100 to have it repaired professionally, he did what he could on his own and fixed about 95% of the damage. Chayla was driving down a Tennessee highway when she encountered another driver who had stopped in the middle of the highway while waiting to make a left turn. Chayla was able to brake, honk, and swerve around the Nissan SUV, avoiding a nasty rear-end collision. She thinks everyone should get a dash cam and wanted to say hi to her boyfriend Drew. Mark was on his way home from running errands when his Ford Ranger was sideswiped by a hatchback driver who turned into the wrong lane. In addition to the one in the driver's seat, his pickup now had some marks on the side of it too. He told us the other vehicle was more heavily damaged than his pickup was, and this was his second collision at this intersection. Andrew's car was parked in his driveway when it captured a very unique vehicle driving by on his street. Andrew also captured this incident and his excited reaction on his home security cam. But you'll have to watch that footage over on the Wham Bam Security Cam channel. Don't forget to subscribe before you head over there.
Wham, bam, we got a Patreon, man. Please support the show.